Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Chapter Approved's mission deck for Warhammer 40,000, 2025-2026. I'm so glad we're done with the names. This is the official sort of matched play, procedurally generated mission creator deck that has been used for the last 3 years, almost, going on 3, for Warhammer 40k 10th edition. Now the previous one is the Pariah Nexus deck. The one before that was the Leviathan deck. And what these kind of did were they gave us the template and a play rate at the same time for playing missions in 40k. The core rulebook didn't have that anymore. They kind of moved towards a modular game design view on how they were going to be presenting the rules. And this set of cards is kind of like a yearly re-up your subscription to play in 40k that Workshop's been doing. And so they were kind enough to send along complimentary review copies, and I gave it a go. And it's funny because you haven't seen me play this one. I'll be honest. This one really was a lead balloon for me. I didn't give a shit about this one right here, Pariah Nexus. I played the Leviathan one. I thought it was an interesting premise. This one didn't do anything really exciting and offer any new changes that made me want to try it. And so I kind of skipped it because it wasn't different enough from Leviathan in my mind. Like fundamentally, like you're playing for different things and stuff like that. That's there. It didn't reinvigorate my interest in the game because it didn't present me with really any way new that was tailored the way I like to play the games. This will be accompanied, obviously, I'm sure, pretty soon with a Grand Tournament mission pack, which is the way that they parse out like the official tournament style 40k, which currently, I'll just voice my opinion right now on it. It's 3 things. It's too long, 3-hour rounds. I don't play 3 hours of anything. It's too many models, too many points. It's on too high a dollar value shelf. And yeah, and while it is still super popular, it's the most popular game on earth, I think that they're reaching a critical point where people's interest in it's waning, and it stopped being the casual way to play Warhammer 40,000. So, short story long, that's why I was excited enough about the 2025-2026 mission deck that I actually gave it a go. So you can watch me and my buddy Mitch play the game badly today if you want. But we play a game using all of the new offers in this box over the Pariah Nexus box. And the reason for that is there's 3 primary changes in here that I'm going to show you. The core structure is the same. I actually just unsleeved all of these and sleeved my new ones. I use, I think they're called gamer cards. Do I have the thing over here? They're called Board Game Sleeves is the company. It's a green box, tarot deck cards if you want to sleeve these to make them more robust. Core thing is the same. You get secondary missions, attacker, defender. They are still, you wind up and go. They haven't changed much from the previous ones. I'm sure there'll be more savvy tournament people that'll tell you the ins and outs of the changes on these individual ones. But what they've added, which I love, is 2 new things. So the secondary mission deck has basically stayed roughly the same, still color coded, still attacker, defender. It's based upon your setup roll, and it just means there's 2 decks of cards. So you have enough for 2 people to play out of this deck. I guess if you didn't know that already, that's something worth noting. You get your standard match play format booklet on how to play. You get objective markers, which a lot of people have moved towards using circles, like big, what's it called? Scoring zones. They were a holdover from previous games like War Machine. And I think they're fine for some things. I really prefer 40 mil objectives right now, though, especially if they have miniatures and detail on them because they're less intrusive on the battlefield and they don't blow up my gameplay experience. But, so what's different in this, you say? Because this was all offered in the last 2 boxes. Well, the main thing is we have our primary missions, which you'll see here, which are these guys, things you should do during a game. The ritual, primary ordinance, purge the unclean. But then we have these. We have deployments, and the deployments have things like a game level, like incursion. So you see here, deployment, incursion, separate deployment cards for 1,000-point games. Then you have strike force level one right here, Dawn of War. And that's the first difference between this deck and the previous decks. Did I not finish leaving these? I guess I didn't. Then you've got a second type, so those are primary missions. You have asymmetrical missions, and asymmetrical missions are games where you can also use asymmetrical deployment. And asymmetrical deployment is where you might have weird, unbalanced scenarios. So another offer in here, cool narrative style missions. And then finally we have Strike Force level games, and these would be your 2,000 point, current tournament standard level games. So a third of the offer is 1,000 point games, a third of the offer is 2,000 point games, and a third of the offer is these asymmetrical, kind of almost like story driven style deployments, pincer attacks, breakouts, last stands, and tip of the spear. So I love this for 2 reasons. One, it's an acknowledgement that different kinds of games need different stuff. And having primary missions for asymmetric war, as you can see here, right? Different mission styles. And then primary missions that are geared towards different like types of level of game. I think these are fantastic. So you got a primary, you've got a bunch of secondaries, and then you have your asymmetrical missions on top of that. They're creating something in this mission deck that says it's okay to just play a 1,000 point game at the game store. It's okay to go and play smaller level games. They're trying to build in sort of like a demarcation and make appropriate missions for that game size. Because honestly, some missions that have been presented in like the Pariah Nexus or even some like secondary missions, they're not really fit for smaller games because you run out of guys faster. 40K is a very lethal game. Bigger units can just wipe whole units off the battlefield. And the attrition level can mean it's really hard to stand in 5 places. Right? If you see here all of these incursion level missions, there's 5 different objectives on here. It's the same with the Strike Force ones. 5 missions, or 5 objectives, but they can be very far apart in Strike Force ones. You'll notice they're a little bit closer together in the incursion level ones. And that kind of denotes the fact that you're gonna need to be able to be in more than one place, and it's hard to get there. Once you have 3 units left, you can't hold 5 spaces on the battlefield. And you're gonna have more units for longer, typically in a Strike Force level game, especially when you get to the Grand Tournament pack and there's like big walls and terrain structures that are blocking line of sight. And then last but not least, we have these. And this is a really interesting addition to the game, especially to see it come over so quickly, because this is taken almost directly from this right here, which is Spearhead. Spearhead uses something called a Battle Tactics deck, and Battle Tactics are a deck of cards, which I think are printed in the back of this, just to show you some. Are they in here? I think they're printed in here. Yeah, here we go. So we have our Battle Tactics deck. And they're laid out very much like the cards in this mission pack, which are called Challenger cards. They have 2 sides. The Challenger cards are used if you start to get behind. A little bit like when you play Mario Kart and you're trying to teach somebody new, the people at the back of the Mario Kart pack get more powerful power-ups to try and pull them back forward and get them back in the race. The Challenger cards are the same idea. Once you're behind by 6 victory points, you can draw at the start of your command phase, and for that whole round you're considered the Challenger. You can draw one of these cards at the start of your command phase, and they can be used 2 ways. One, they're a free stratagem. So for instance, we have Force of Breach, 0 CPs in your movement phase. Target a unit from your army that hasn't moved yet, and they can move through models and terrain features, friendly and enemy. They can just walk through stuff. They can just push through, basically. You can get a tank out of combat. You can push an infantry unit through a wall and an objective. Like, that's a really powerful late game ability all of a sudden. Pivotal moment in your movement phase, when you're from your army until the end of the turn, your unit's eligible to shoot and declare a charge when they advanced or fell back. Oh man, like, for free. Just, get an ability to be super heroic for a turn. Now, the bottom half is usually additional ways to score VPs, and it's an and/or. So these would be things like and they're instantaneous or end of turn. So it's not like holding objectives. Primary missions are usually scored at the end of your command phase. These are all scored at the end of your turn, so you can just go do them, get the points, start to catch back up. They're all worth 3, which means that it's going to take you at least 2 turns of being the Challenger and equal scoring and everything else to get you back to even. But 2 turns of that could change the game, right? And make it closer. So for instance, this one is end of your turn. For each objective mark you control, get a VP, up to 3. So just go grab objectives. When end of your turn, 1 or more units from your army, excluding aircraft and battleshock units, are in your opponent's deployment zone. Just run across the board for 3. This one is models in 2 or more units from your army made 1 or more attacks against the same enemy unit this turn. And models not enemy unit lost at least 1 or more wins. So just hurt something and shoot it with 2 units. A focused effort. And that's almost entirely the same as the Battle Tactics deck, which usually can be scored one of 2 ways. They can either be scored for their effect, or they can be used as a command ability, just like in this. So if you look at, show me the cards here. There's got to be a picture of the Spearhead cards in here, right? Battle Tactics cards. Yeah, you draw 3. They can either be scored for their ability, or they can be used as a objective. So like they might say hold this objective marker, right? Oh my God, where's the rules? Come back here. They might say hold the Draconith, head or whatever. They may say hold this objective marker over here. They might say have somebody in your opponent's deployment zone, or have 2 units within 3 of the table edge. It's the same idea as these. And this is a very video game inspired mechanic coming over now from AOS into this game. And I think it's taking the right lessons from modern game design into a game like Warhammer. A catch-up mechanic is, I think, very much needed in 40K. I've complained for a while that like a lot of 40K games, by turn 2 or 3, you kind of know who's going to win, but you play it at the end anyway. And when that's a 3-hour game, that gets a little bit unbearable. Having a mechanic like this, where in turn 2, if you start to go behind, you still have the ability to maybe catch up or do some sort of power move that swings the game a little bit, can be really, really cool. And so we decided to play a game of this. And I'll be honest, it was the most fun I had playing 40K in a while. 1, the game didn't go too long. 2, the armies, like a 1,000-point game of 40K today looks like a 1,700, 1,500 point game of 40K 15 years ago. Like model count wise, it's identical. It looks like it's built around the old force organization chart for Warhammer 40,000. So when Mitch and I played our game, it felt very familiar and comfortable for someone who's been playing 40K for a very long time. And I really enjoyed it. So two things I'm really encouraged by. 1, this deck kind of doubled down on, we just play 2,000 point games. All of our game design is going to be around 2,000 point games. You can play it at other sizes, and that's okay, but it's not really what 40K is. 40K is always going to be these 2,000 point games. There's a really clear message in this one. 1/3 of what's in this mission deck is for you hardcore gamers. We'll still curate it with the Grand Tournament pack. But a ton of what's in here is for people to play, is to try and expand the capacity with which this like kind of serves people that want to play the games other ways. Either asymmetrically with like cool narrative missions, attacker defenders, last stands, like those are anathema to tournament players. Imagine you get to a 40K tournament today. Like 20 years ago, you would play a 40K tournament where they might make these the final missions. Where like these would be like your last missions. You do some kind of crazy mission at the end to see if you can win or lose. Today it's all just balanced. It's paintball, right? It's a balanced game. So to see these in here and see them start to like just pull the throttle back on, no, this is the way that everybody really engages with 40K, and everyone who's not doing it this way is aspiring to. And to be fair, that is the mindset in a game store. Everybody plays games and talks about games because it's a win or lose game. It's a competitive game. Everyone wants to have the binary result of win, and so it's going to naturally drift towards this style of play over time. It has. It's kind of come to the logical end of that, and we're seeing the company that makes it now be like, oh, no, that's not what we meant. No, we need to do other things. Here's 3 other ways to play this game, still in this box. And that's really encouraging. It's a very public acknowledgement that there should be more ways of playing Warhammer 40,000 than just 2,000 point pre-laid terrain sets, standard circles, push buttons, do your secondaries, let's get balanced. Because ain't nothing balanced about these, right? It's imbalanced by design. You'll notice I didn't sleeve the Strike Force ones because I didn't care about them. I only sleeved the Incursion ones because I was like, I want to play 40K for an hour or two. I don't want to play 40K for 4 hours. I don't want to do anything for 4 hours. I don't have enough life left in my life chart to want to do anything for 4 hours. So yeah, that's it. That's my look at the 2025-2026 mission deck. Probably a surprising review for some of you because I don't do a lot of 40K on the channel. Again, purely because of time. It just takes too long to play in the armies. Like I don't want to eat the endless pasta bowl at Olive Garden. Like I just don't want to anymore. I can't eat that many breadsticks. I want to like make a nice, fun, compact collection of things. I'm very much one of those gamers that fell into the kill team bucket that I think Workshop is part of probably the proof that, the dollars proof that there are 40K gamers out there that don't want to play a 4-hour game. And this is more my speed. So expect to see me maybe paint a 40K army this year. I have a lot of 40K armies, but I haven't played with a lot of them in the last 1.5 to 2 years. And this is a really good I think, first step towards other styles of gaming and maybe pulling it back from being on a very high shelf where it sits currently. So thanks for shops on this long to review. You guys can check out the battle report with me and Mitch. It'll be up in the cards. Until next time, Ash.